Want to learn how to master ACCA corporate and business law and finally feel confident tackling all those tricky legal questions? Need help understanding where this paper fits in your ACCA journey and how to pass it without stress? You're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what the ACCA applied skills level is and where corporate and business law fits into all this and what is it all about. We'll look how this paper links to other papers like financial reporting, audit and assurance, and SBR, and why the knowledge you gain here is so important later on. You also get a clear You'll get a clear breakdown of the LW syllabus, how the exam works. You also get a clear breakdown of LW global variant syllabus, how the exam works, and key tips to manage your time effectively on the exam day. With my tutors, we'll also share some study strategies and show you the packages that we've created very quickly, including full video courses, huge question banks, and authentic mocks to help you pass without issues. So, let's get started.
The aim of the qualification at this level, the applied skills level, is to build on existing knowledge and understand and develop strong, broad and practical finance skills required of future strategic professional accountants in any sector or industry. So it's a very broad set of papers. Law is in there with performance management, which is looking at essentially management accounting, taxation, financial reporting and audit and assurance, and then finance, so that's financial management. The corporate and business law paper in particular, the aim of this paper is to introduce you to the general legal framework and of specific legal areas relating to business, recognising the need to seek further specialist legal advice where necessary. So it's important to note that this paper is not trying to give you any formal legal training of any sort. It's just introducing you to the issues so that you know when to go and talk to somebody else.
Now that you have an overview of the corporate and business law paper, let's take a quick look at where this paper fits into the broader ACCA qualification. According to the official ACCA syllabus, LW directly supports SBR, so strategic business reporting, and it also fits into FR, financial reporting, and AA, audit and assurance. So let's just break it down. Strategic business reporting. Okay, so this is the paper most closely linked to LW. Why? Because SBR deals with legal responsibilities, regulatory frameworks, and ethical issues, all areas where a grounding in business law is essential. The legal concepts you'll study in LW, like company formation, director's duties, and corporate misconduct, will show up again in SBR scenarios, but in a more strategic and judgment-based context. Let's move to the next paper, so financial reporting, FR. While FR focuses on accounting standards, a basic understanding of legal concepts like the rights of shareholders, company structures, and legal forms of business helps provide context, especially in real-world interpretation of financial statements. And then we have audit and assurance, AA. Similarly, LW gives you a helpful foundation for AA, particularly around liability, fraud, and legal obligations of directors and auditors. It's not directly tested, but the legal mindset you build here will strengthen how you approach auditing scenarios. Now, you might expect that SBL, so Strategic Business Leader, will be listed here as well. After all, it's all the paper that deals heavily with governance, ethics, and professional judgment. And you'll be right thinking that LW is useful for it. But SBL is more focused on strategic business and leadership than legal knowledge. That's why it's not shown as directly underpinned by LW in the official diagram. But make no mistake, the awareness you develop in this paper will still support your thinking in SBL. So, to sum it up, corporate and business law is more than just a standalone paper. It's a foundation that supports higher-level topics in ethics, reporting, and assurance. Mastering it early gives you a strong platform to build on as you progress through the ACCA qualification. In this short session, I'll walk you through the ACCA Corporate and Business Law, the global variant syllabus, and explain it from the business perspective to help you see not only what you'll study, but why it is important for your career. At its heart, the LW, the global paper variant, is about understanding how legal systems and regulations affect business operations. You'll be learning about how businesses are set up, how contracts are formed, what risks businesses face, and how companies are governed and financed. The aim, as I mentioned before, is not about making you a lawyer, but is to equip you with the legal knowledge that is needed to operate effectively in any professional environment. So now let's jump right to the syllabus of this paper. It consists of 8 different key areas. Part A is called Essential Elements of Legal Systems. First, you'll look at how legal systems work, things like the sources of law, the role of courts, and dispute resolution. From a business perspective, it's vital to understand how laws are created and enforced because it affects every decision a business makes. Part B, International Business Transactions. In this section, you will study the United Nations Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods, known as CISG. You will learn the rules that govern international sales contracts and the different methods used to fund international business transactions, such as letters of credit, documentary collections, and advance payments. Then, Part C, Transportation and Payment of International Business Transactions. This section covers the legal aspect of transporting goods across borders, including key documents like Bill of Lading and Incoterms. You will also explore different international payment systems, such as bank transfers and guarantees, and the legal risk associated with cross-border transactions. Part D, Formation and Constitution of Business Organizations. In this section, you will learn how different types of business organizations, such as partnerships and companies, are formed and structured. You will study the legal processes involved in setting up these entities and the importance of constitutional documents like the Memorandum and Articles of Association in defining the rules governing the organizations. Part E, Capital and Financing of Companies. In this section, you will explore how companies raise finance through equity and debt. You will also study the legal rules that protect shareholders and creditors, ensuring that the company's financial structure remains fair and properly regulated. Part F, Management, Administration and Regulation of Companies. Here, you will learn about the legal duties and powers of directors, the role of company secretaries, how company meetings are conducted, and the importance of corporate governance and regulatory compliance. Part G, Insolvency Law. In this section, you will examine the legal procedures involved when companies face financial difficulties. You learn about insolvency, liquidation, and the ways the law protects creditors during the process of a company's financial collapse. Part H, Corporate Fraudulent and Criminal Behavior. This final section focuses on legal consequences of corporate fraud and criminal acts. You'll study how the law addresses issues like money laundering, insider trading, and corporate misconduct, and understand the responsibilities businesses have to operate lawfully and ethically. Overall, the ACCA LW, the global variant, the syllabus gives you the legal knowledge to recognize risks, make better decisions, and ensure the businesses operate fairly, legally, and ethically. It builds strong foundation for later ACCA papers that includes SBL, and it's essential preparation for any professional role where you'll be advising or managing businesses. Thank you for joining me for this overview, and I look forward to supporting you through the course.
Let's have a look at the exam itself now. The exam is computer-based. It's a 2-hour exam, and you need to get 50% or more to pass, and it's all words. There's no numbers in there at all. Section A for 70% of the exam, so 70 marks out of 100, all objective test questions. You've got 25 questions that are slightly longer and more involved, so they're given 2 marks. And then there are 20 shorter questions for 1 mark each, adding up to your 70 marks there. And these are objective tests, not just multiple choice. Multiple choice is in there, but there's also fill in the blanks, potentially picking several responses, so multiple responses, picking off a pick list, or clicking a box. Section B, for the other 30 marks, is an objective test case section. There are 5 6-mark multitask questions in there. So you're given there a scenario followed by some objective test questions about that scenario. And those objective test questions could be up to about 4 marks per question. Time management wise, section A is going to take most of your time. So allocating the time fairly would mean spending 84 minutes in total on section A. What I tend to aim for is getting through round about 10 questions every 15 minutes. So keep an eye on the clock, get through 10 questions every 15 minutes. If there are problem questions as you're going through, flag them and then come back to those at the end. Because what you don't want to do is spend ages and ages sweating over a question that you're finding particularly difficult, only to run out of time and have to skip through questions that you could have done quite well. In section B, we've got 36 minutes in total. So again, I would aim for round about 7 minutes per scenario. Tips for sitting the exam in sections, both sections A and B. Make sure that you read the question carefully. For example, look for negatively worded questions. Which of the following is correct, or which of the following is incorrect, or which of the following is not correct. Make sure you read the question carefully, and always note if you're required to give more than one option. So select, several options might mean you have 2, 3, 4 to even choose from. As far as distractors are concerned, distractors are options that are not the right answer, but distractions in this exam, like all the other exams, to be honest, are designed to be tempting to you. So be careful not to fall into traps when it comes to distractors. If you're struggling to directly come up with the correct answer, there are a few approaches that you can take as an alternative. You can start off by narrowing down your options by eliminating what are definitely the wrong answers. Maybe sometimes work backwards from the options and see whether the options fit in with the scenario that you're being faced with. Just something I've noticed over time, that sometimes in a multiple choice question, if you've got 2 answers that are similar in some way, shape or form, often one of those is right because there's a subtle difference between them that represents a trap. If you're still stuck having tried all those things, just flag it and come back to it at the end, and just make sure you leave yourself a little bit of time at the end to go back to the flagged questions and have another think about them. Ultimately, even if you have to guess those questions, a guess is better than nothing at all. What I suggest you should do is book your exam right at the start of your study program. That gives you something to aim for, and it lets you know exactly how long you've got to study for, and therefore enables you to work out what you're going to do and when. Make sure you book the right variant, because there are several variants you could choose from. Make sure you practice on your computer using the Practice Tests Academy and ACCA software, so there's plenty of opportunity to practice in the environment of the real exam. Always do it to time. There's no point spending ages and ages and ages practicing questions because you're not going to have that time in the real exam. So always time yourself. Don't be tempted to stick to the parts of the syllabus that you know and like. It might make you feel confident, but unfortunately what you should be doing is focusing on the whole syllabus, because the whole syllabus is examinable. And in fact, particularly focus on the areas that you can't do before you go to the exam. And then in the exam, stick to what you can do. Learn mainly through question practice. So sitting and trying to learn a file worth of information is very difficult. It's very passive because your brain's not aware of any particular reason why you have to learn any one particular fact. If you work backwards from questions, that's a much more active process. So have a go at questions, and if you struggle with those questions, then dip into your file to help you. What is another good idea to do, I always used to do this, is keep a track of questions that you've done. And when you're answering questions in a question bank, don't write the answers down so that when you come back to those questions, you know what you said last time. So keep your answers away from the questions and keep a track of the ones you've got right and a track of the ones you've got wrong so you can come back to them later on when you've given yourself time to forget what the right answer is so you can work it out again. Keep a diary. Now, if you book your exam at the start of study, you'll know how many days and weeks you've got between the start of study when you're sitting your exam. And it's important to say what you're going to do on each one of those days. Now, I'm not saying you have to work every single day. You can book days off effectively in your diary, but when you make a booking for study, make sure that you stick to it. Put yourself first in this process. Now, when you are going through study sessions, always give yourself regular breaks, even if you don't feel like you need them. Perhaps every 10 or 15 minutes, just glance away from your computer screen for a few seconds, and then maybe every 3/4 of an hour to an hour, give yourself a proper 10-minute break. Stretch your legs and walk around, go to a different room, have a drink, even if you don't feel like you need it, and that will keep your energy levels up for a much longer period of time. When you're planning your time, plan output-based sessions. And what that means is rather than saying, I'm going to sit and study law for 2 hours now, say to yourself, in this study session, I'm going to work through questions 50 to 80. And when they're done, and I've marked them, and I understand the answers, then I'm finished with that study session. Giving yourself output-based targets motivates you through the study session to keep going and to concentrate rather than just occupy the time in as inefficient a way as possible. And it also means that by the time you get to the exam, you're guaranteed to have covered the material that you would need to cover. Make sure you practice your questions as much as you can in the real CBE environment so it feels familiar when it comes to the real exam. Last thing to say, good luck, and I look forward to seeing you on the next course that you're sitting with Practice Tests Academy.
If you need help with ACCA Corporate and Business Law, we are here to support you every step of the way. Our complete video courses give you everything you need to pass, without overwhelm. We cover the full syllabus in a structured, approachable way. From contract law to corporate governance, you learn the key legal principles and how to apply them in exam-style scenarios. The courses include bite-sized video lessons, condensed study notes, and practice quizzes to reinforce your understanding after each session. You'll also get access to our full practice kit, over 520 exam-style questions for both Section A and Section B, with detailed explanations for every question. Plus, each course comes with mock exams to help you prepare under real exam conditions. If you choose the Ultimate course, you'll also receive 6 mocks, detailed markings of 3 of them, BPP ebooks, and even tutor support. Ideal if you want full structure and guidance. Now, if you're focusing only on the exam practice, you can purchase the practice kits separately. This will give you access to our question bank, perfect for reinforcing your understanding of each topic. And for the final revision, you can buy authentic mock exams on their own, or get them bundled together with our practice kits and courses. Every mock replicates the actual LW exam format and comes with the option for expert feedback. Whether you are just starting out or sharpening your skills before the exam day, our packages are designed to help you pass ACCA Corporate and Business Law with confidence and clarity. Thank you very much for listening. I wish you all the best luck in the LW exam preparation. Good luck and see you later.